Alrighty. We're back.
We're back.
We're back. That's it. We're going to be talking about 705, which is titled Eastwatch, which I think is kind of weird because it's not entirely about, well, you only learn about Eastwatch halfway through, I think. So I don't know. It's not the best title. You could do better, but that's what it's called. That's what they chose. Our first scene is with Braun and Jamie. We're finding out what happened to them after their wild, Jamie's very stupid act and Braun's stupid act. Like, I thought he was gonna die. To be honest with you, I would have been okay if he had died, only because that was a really stupid thing to do on both their parts. So
I wouldn't have wanted her to die, but
well, I just think that's so close to fire, though.
Well, that, and I also don't understand, like, armor is heavy, so I'm a little confused as to how he got out of the water, even if Braun was dragging him. Like,
was Braun wearing like much less armor? I don't know.
He was wearing more leather, but I mean, leather's heavy too.
Yeah. Well, they strong and good, I guess. I guess that's what we have to understand about them.
Guess so.
More power to him. But Jamie, for some reason, is like, "Oh, you could have killed me or let me die down there or something." And he's like, but Braun's just like, "What were you doing, you dumbass?" Rightfully so.
Mm-hmm.
And Jamie's like, "I was ending the war, killing her." And I'm like, "God damn it, Jamie, I will kill you." It's very upsetting. Didn't like what he said. But Braun's like, you can't die until I get what I'm owed. He wants his castles and shit. And Jamie, through Braun and obviously just common logic, he realizes that they cannot defeat these dragons, 3 of them. Which I'm glad this realization has come, because if they kept making those scorpions, I would have been like, listen. And they only had 1, you said? So, I mean, if the dragons know, they can just come in and whack it out first. Yeah. That's really all it takes.
Cersei's...
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm trying to pick something out of my microphone. This is my new one, and it's got some weird thing that came in between the B and the L, and it was really bothering me. Okay, I finally got it, but that's, if you hear scratching, it's a pin against the mic.
I gotcha. There. It's fine.
Sorry.
I was really bummed when I got mine because I wanted one that wasn't silver, but I got like a $50 gift card. That's the whole reason all of this and my channel started, is I got a $50 gift card for buying like a computer part. And I was like, well, what am I going to do with it? I should buy a mic. And then boom. That's how it happened.
The only reason we had one is because I think Taylor's husband, Mark, had an extra one that he had gotten sent accidentally. And I think he gave it to Ryan for music stuff. And so Ryan hadn't been using it. And I was like, Can I use? Can
I have?
Can be for me. And now we have 3 mics, and one of which, we bought the snowballs, which actually I really like. That's what I'm using right now.
They're great. They're great little mics. Mm-hmm. There's nothing wrong with them. I only got the Yeti because I was like, I want to get the best one I can for my monies right now.
Makes sense.
Plus $50. So no regrets. But you bet I did a lot of Googling. God. What were we saying? Oh, we were talking about the show. That's right. That is right. So yeah, they can't defeat dragons. That's great. And then we see Tyrion walking through the battlefield. And that's his own little moment of like, oh shit. I don't really feel bad in this situation because he knows, like, I don't know how I'd feel if I was Tyrion. I understand it's his family, but, they were going to kill him. So at the same time, I don't know. Except Jamie. I mean.
Yeah. I think that's his, like, one major regret is feeling like, he killed their dad and he knew that. Even though, what I don't understand about Jamie is, for some reason, he is still mad about their dad being dead, and I'm like, but your dad was an asshole. Like, he was mean to you, he was mean to your sister / girlfriend, he was mean to your brother. He was kind of shit.
I think more so with men that I can really think of, is they always want the approval of their fathers, and it's just a thing. Like, even if they treat you shitty, I don't personally understand it, maybe a little bit, but that's like a thing. So I think he just wanted the approval he never got, and now he never will. Or maybe, well, not, he was approved of, but I don't think his father, I don't know, you know how he was. So I could see in his mind that he hadn't gotten what he wanted out of that relationship, and then his brother killed his father, no matter how shitty his dad was. So there's got to be some resentment, and I don't know. I don't feel bad about it, but that's me.
Yeah.
And then we have Drogon. I loved that shot of Drogon on that giant ass rock, and then Dany panning down, and she's just so big over all the Lannister soldiers. And she explains, I'm not Cersei. All these things she says are things that are true of her. I want to break the wheel. And then Mr. Daddy Tarly, he's like, no, I serve Cersei. She's the rightful queen, which I don't think so. Just even logically speaking. I still don't understand that succession. I don't think that's actually accurate.
No.
Yeah, I'm curious how that would be explained in the books, because it really doesn't seem like she's logically the next one in line. I don't know. But he's like, you're foreigners, and Tyrion's like, but your allegiances are very flexible, which is true, because he just murdered Olenna, and he supposedly really cared about her, so that was great. But he uses slurs about people, and then I'm like, I'm not gonna feel bad whatever happens here, because you're being a dick.
Well, then he's Sam's dad, and he's an asshole to Sam.
We knew he was an asshole.
I was like,
so there's no regret on that.
Yeah, I was like, are we supposed to feel sad? Because I don't.
Hey, question: was Dickon nice to his brother? I don't think so.
It was his sisters and his mom that were nice to Sam.
Yeah, okay. So, but he's like, Danny's like, I respect it. You will not trade honor for your life. But Tyrion's like, no, maybe you should consider, the wall. But he's like, you're not my queen, so you can't send me to the wall. So, yeah. But Dickon's like, no, you have to kill me too. By the way, sub note, is Sam now Lord Tarly?
I think so.
Sweet.
Yep.
Sweet. I'm very excited for that one.
One fell swoop. They're done. Yeah, I don't know. I
love it. I was like, you know what, Danny? You've made an ally.
Yeah, for real. I was kind of like,
because they were on the wrong side of history, and guess what? Now they're not. So we'll talk about it as soon as I'm done with this whole. Oh, I guess I am done. That's what happened. So they burn him. She burns him. She gave him options. Tyrion's upset. But here's like the thing. Like, I watched the after thing, and the creators were like, oh yeah, like it's kind of left up to you. I mean, and the way I feel about it is like, I don't like burning, that's for sure, but at the same time, like, what was she gonna do? And like, I just don't know. I feel like, yes, burning is a little harsh, but that's just her method. I don't feel like it's possibly as big a deal as maybe other people might make it, or like Tyrion makes it. Like, maybe, I don't know.
Well, I mean, the alternatives are like the Dothraki slash them to death, or
and that
they get imprisoned, or
which doesn't really help. And I just feel like they really disrespected her so much that I feel like not even taking the wall. I feel like she would have entertained that option. So I don't think it was like a cruelty on her part. And even putting aside my feelings on Daenerys, like, I still think that if it had been a male figure, it would not have been a big a deal. I'm just saying. I mean, what were they going to do? She let everybody else live. She just asked him to, bow or go to the wall, and he was like, no. And he was very disrespectful. Okay. I don't know. It sucked though. I feel bad for them, but at the same time, not really, because they've murdered a lot of people. Let's not joke.
Yeah, it's not like they're, precious.
They're not innocent babes.
Yeah, no.
And like Dickon could have, but he didn't care.
Well, I mean, his dad was even like, just bend the knee, it's fine. Like,
what is
I'm
your
just
honor
not gonna.
Worth?
And
like,
Dickon was
seriously,
like, no, I'm gonna go die with my dad, because that makes more sense.
It's a Ned complex. I think you have to put your life above your honor in some circumstances. And which is something I feel like Sansa was very good at, which I often am like critical on her of, but putting your life before honor is pretty important in surviving in that world. But no, they did. And Sam is a Lord Tarly, but hopefully that'll come up soon before all is done, because that would be really great. And then Gilly could have a nice home and all her books, and I'm just saying that would be great.
Yep. And
really
Sam's
great.
mom also won't have to be married to a piece of shit asshole.
A dick.
So I'm cool with it.
It seems really great.
Yeah, I think it benefits everyone. I mean, Dickon seemed kind of like an idiot, but
it's kind of the best. If they're trying to use that as a showcase of like Dany's gone mad, it's like, I don't know. I don't even think so. I don't even know what you're talking about. A lot of people, even people who I've seen like perpetuating that idea, are like, no, it's a fake out, which we'll talk about later when it comes to Arya and Sansa. There's some stuff that people are like, no, these are all misdirections. But and then next we have Jaime coming in to tell Cersei what's up. And he's like, no, the Dothraki here are really good. We can't win against them, let alone dragons. And then he tells her about Olenna, how Tyrion's innocent. And she's just like, oh, at first she's like, oh, of course she'd say that. But then he's like, but wouldn't you think that if she wanted to rule, the best way that she could rule through the granddaughter, through one of your kids, is through Tommen versus Joffrey? Like, wouldn't you rather that? And she's like, oh no, realization. Yes, you're right. My kid was a horrible person. Oops.
Yeah.
I guess that explains it.
I like how he was like, who would you want? Like,
that was pretty good.
And I was just like, yeah. I mean, none of us can deny that
sense.
Joffrey was a fucking little asshole.
Even she can't, because she couldn't control him.
Nope.
And she tried, and we saw that. Like her after Ned was beheaded, she was even shocked. She thought she could control him, but she couldn't. And leading down the road of Cersei's slow and twisted
journey
to hell. Yeah. Yep. To the hellscape she's in. So that was better scene. At least it was okay. Next we have Jon. Dany's coming back.
Oh wait,
on Drogon.
Is that when they? No, they don't reveal that yet. Okay.
No, not yet. I take notes. By the way, this is the most scenes, by which I mean some of these are like when they switch from, I consider them scenes, although some are short. There's 18, and I'm only on 5.
Good God.
There's a lot of them.
That's a lot.
There's a lot of them. This is a good one though. Jon seeing Drogon. Dany's coming back from the attack. And he walks right up to him, and Dany looks confused at first, but she says nothing. And Jon eventually, shaky handed, is able to pet him, and they have eye contact, and Dany is shooketh. She looks, and so is he. When she comes down and she's like, aren't they beautiful? And he's like, I guess I wouldn't use that word, but yeah, they're beautiful. And she says, they're not beasts, they're my children. And she's like, by the way, here's what happened. I have fewer enemies now. You're not sure how you feel about that. And he's like, no, I'm not. She asks how many he's killed to take Winterfell, because he seems a little judgy about that. And she's like, sometimes strength is terrible. And I was like, I like that line. It's a good line. It seemed a book Dany line. I liked it. And then she once again asks about the knife in the heart. But they're cut off by... Jorah Mormont with the wind in his hair, which is really unfortunate.
Yeah.
It's an unfortunate time for that gentleman. I'm back. But she's happy. They hug. Jon watches. I think they're setting up like a real hostility, not hostility, but like a definite supposed love triangle. I'm like, who are you kidding? Let's be real. Dany could have been with Jorah anytime she wanted.
Yeah.
As gross as it is, she could have, and she isn't. So calm yourself. Calm yourself.
I think the only people who think that it's a love triangle are Jorah and Jon.
Yeah.
I think Dany's just like, what?
And I think
I'm okay.
Dany
Thanks,
doesn't have many people that like knew her before all this. Like even Missandei, she didn't have like Jorah's been with her since like day one of this journey into getting married, etc. And he's like the only, as far as we know, that's prominently displayed, like tie back to that time. And she at this point like trusts him, and I don't see it that way.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of crappy to assume that because she has affection for somebody that it always has to be romantic, but whatever.
I mean, I agree, but I definitely think that both John and Jorah think that that's what's happening.
Sure. Whatever. I'm not into that. Especially since I read those books, I think first when I was like 16 or so. And so my perspective on that, especially the grossness of how old he is and how young she is in the books, has really changed. And I've been like, ew. And the TV show still just kind of gross. I don't know. Yeah. Plus, he wasn't always the best person, and she can do better.
Yeah.
She can do better is all I'm saying.
For sure.
A lot better, but no offense. I used to like him, and now I'm just kind of like, why'd you come in? They were going to talk. What's your goddamn problem, Jorah Mormont?
I want him to be happy, but I just want him to be happy away from...
Yeah, I don't think that's where he belongs, but... I don't know. I don't know how that'll pan out. Maybe after all this, he'll die. It seemed kind of weird that he was willing to go anyway. He just got back. Do you really need to go? Let other people handle this. And I don't want him there, but I'm just saying, I think during this time, John is going to like hear about Dany and shit. And he's going to be like, oh, my sweet Daenerys. And I am looking forward to that because it'll be funny. And I swear to God, if there's no pining for Daenerys on this trip on Jorah's part, I'm going to be so bummed because he's so funny when he does that shit.
Yeah, he is.
And John's going to be like, and I'm going to be like, that'll be good. Next we have Bran in his, what do they call it? Not true sight, green sight or whatever, through the ravens, being his three-eyed raven self. And he sees the walkers and they see him and boop, and then they send ravens everywhere. Ravens, which brings to the best scene of the episode, which I thought was pretty good, in my opinion, because it's so damn stupid, is the maesters who get the raven. And Sam is hearing it because Sam's doing his work. And they're like, all these old men in their jolly robes. I thought this was great symbolism of sort of like the people who are in charge. Even though it's not an exact parallel, I see it as like the people in government who are like super damn old and the, jaded maybe is the wrong word, but like, but Sam's like, I've seen this. He's pleading his case hard and they're super rude. And he's like, I think you should send men to the wall, tell everybody, because they'll listen to you. They can find info all around the realm. You just have to tell them what's going on. And then by that, it's not just me who's looking for info. You can actually help. But they're like, no, it could be the Dragon Queen sabotaging. So he's dismissed. And then we find out the Maester already knows about his family and isn't telling him yet. So, but I thought this was a good scene because it sets up really well what happens later, which I feel like Sam always thought that he wasn't a man of action, He thought that he belonged in a world of research in books and that kind of lifestyle. But I think going there, he's realized that he's not quite as cowardly, number one, as everybody thought he was. And kind of pushed upon him, and he's not quite as gentle, and he's not quite as what's the word? Inactive in the plot. I can't think of the right word, but I think going there has really informed him that he's a lot braver and a lot more capable than all of these people.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a really good experience for him just to go there, and this really taught him that this is not a life that he wants, because he wants to do things that help people, and they're not helping people. Not really, that we've seen.
No, they pretty much just are like, nope, we can't do that because there's a reason. It's like, okay.
They even bring up like
what?
True, like when they're talking about all the fake things they've heard, some of those are actually pretty real. One of them they were talking about was the prophecy of the prince who was promised, but just in another time when they ignored it. So like they tend to make everything a joke, which is kind of funny because you think they've access to all that knowledge, but they are dismissing things and not really doing their job. They're just like laughing about it. So they're not very capable, and Sam can do better. He can do better. I was proud of him though for like having a good plan and asking for it, but they're morons. Yeah. And they even made fun of the Winterfell Maester, and I was like, you dicks.
Yep.
You're mean. I feel bad for Sam, but, now he's Lord Tarly, and he'll eventually find out. I don't know where he's... Well, we'll talk about that when we get to it. I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay. Then Varys and Tyrion. Varys is upset. He's tapping his little missive he has for the Starks. He's concerned, and he has a great little speech about, every time the Mad King burned himself or did something, he's like, it wasn't on him, basically. I'm not doing it, but Tyrion, kind of defends. He's like, she's not him, and she never will be. And Varys is like, yeah, if she has the right counsel. They kind of want to control and steer her. And then Varys has a scroll for Jon, and I don't know. Varys wasn't there. I don't know. Do you feel like those were appropriate reactions?
I mean, like, I can see why they're concerned, but at the same time, I don't know.
They slash so many people, though. Like, how different is it? We're just talking about method here. And, like, they didn't have a choice then. If they had got them in battle, the Dothraki would have just slashed them. So I'm not really sure what the morality line is here.
Well, it looks horrible, but at the same time, like, she killed two people.
She gave them a choice, and the other people that, like, died in battle for these people, they didn't have a choice. Like, you didn't stop and ask them. Nobody stopped and asked them, and these people had a choice, and
they chose.
They could have backed. I honestly thought they were going to back out a little bit.
Yeah, well, and the other thing is, like, being burned to death, I'm sure is horrible, but it's not like...
It's not my way. I'd want to
go. They weren't put on, like, a pike and slowly burned. They were, like, flash burned. It was very quick. I don't know if bleeding out from being stabbed to death or
she didn't look happy about it either.
You know what I mean?
Like, just like when she killed the Masters in Slaver's Bay. Was that Slave? No, it was... I don't remember. Wherever that place was, she killed the Masters. Or maybe it was. I don't know. There's so many places. But, like, she's never been happy about it, Mm-hmm. And I feel like even going back to when people were first like, oh, she's mad, is when she killed that guy who was like a believer in her, and he thought he was doing what she wanted by stealthily or sneakily murdering that master. It was somebody that he, murdered.
Yeah.
Remember? And everybody was like, and then they all hissed at her and like, but I think she's been trying to establish a sort of like, I do what I say I'm going to do, within reason. I still think she would have sent them to the wall, but they'd be boobs.
Yeah. And the other thing is, like, the one thing I do worry about is her trying to harden herself to having to kill people and
I don't think
becoming cold. That's the only thing I really worry about. Like, I don't think she's going to descend into madness just because she's killing people, because I don't think she enjoys it. But I do worry about becoming desensitized.
Like, remember how Ned, like, totally... like the first second scene, or the first time we saw Ned, he was having to behead someone because that was his word,
mm-hmm.
And that was what had to be done. So, like, I just see double standards, man. I mean, I don't see it that. It's not like I thought Ned was right in that. That's still like a shitty thing to do, but
yeah.
But that's how it is, and I don't think, nobody hates him for that, as far as I know, or thinks he's mad.
No, I mean, I don't think she's mad. The only thing I worry about is just being in that much power and possibly becoming desensitized. That's all.
I see like tides of like her connecting to things outside of that make me a little more excited, which we'll get to in a moment. Then Jon gets the scroll that Varys was holding to see that Arya and Bran are alive. Dany's like, I'm happy for you, but he looks really upset because he also finds out that Eastwatch is in trouble, and that Jon needs to go. And Tyrion proposes, Dany's like, he's like, could you go with me? Whatever, if you really want to help. And she's like, I can't leave because Cersei will come in as soon as I go. But Tyrion's like, well, we could have I don't remember the word they used. because it's like a battle word, who the hell knows, but basically a truce for a bit, just like a pause button. And he's like, well, how about we bring a walker body to show Cersei, well, it's still there, to show her the threat. I'll meet with Jaime and propose it, and Davos will smuggle him in. Then Jorah volunteers to go and get the walker, but Jon's like, no, I gotta go. But Dany, she looks so forlorn and let down. So of course she's like, I didn't give you my permission. And he's like, I don't need permission. I'm a king. And then he's like, asking her to trust him. So she nods. And that scene actually was the first time, because she looked like my John Dany heart was like, because you could see it on her. It wasn't like the queen part of her that was like, I don't want you to go. Not to be too much a shipper, but it was definitely the Dany part of she liked having him around. And that I think she really admires some things in him. It seemed, I don't know. How did you take that situation?
I felt the same way. I was like, oh, she doesn't want you to go because she finds you like, I think possibly it's a little bit comforting maybe to see someone else like young and in this sort of unique position where you're leading a bunch of people and you feel very responsible.
I think they're the same age in the book. So I think on the show they're the same age. So like a year apart. I think Danny's a little older.
Yeah.
Or he's older. Who knows? And as to what you said of like only like you were saying something about not wanting to harden herself to the murder, and I think Jon is good at playing that, because I think Tyrion's never gonna hit that I don't think she, not to say she doesn't respect Tyrion, but I don't think she, just because of who he is, etc., or just because of his personality, I don't think she takes what he says to heart as much. And because they're in much different positions. But I think with Jon, she was getting a little bit of that. And what was I saying? I kind of lost myself. She was I don't know. I think she, I don't know. I got lost in my thoughts there for a minute, but it's fine. I don't know what my point was. They're going to get a walker.
Well, and I think what you were trying to say, I'm assuming, is like because she and Jon have very like, there are a lot of parallels. It's easier for her to take his like, not necessarily his advice, but his like opinions and think about them and reflect on them. Whereas with Tyrion, I think sometimes she's sort of like, okay, well, you grew up. Well,
he's also failed her technically. That
too.
And not to bring up something weird, but we've talked about this, funny enough, because it's hilarious. People who are related to each other, there is some definite thing, there's real world experience outside of Westeros that like, even cousins, etc. There are people who are just attracted to each other. If they don't know they're related, they can't really place that. So there are, many cases where people who are like cousins or lost brother and sisters, half brother and sisters, fall in love simply because they don't know, and they're like, there's like a innate closeness that I don't really know how to biologically explain. Maybe it's pheromones, which is kind of gross. They're related, but like I think there's definitely a bit of that too. Like Drogon can smell it, and metaphorically, Dany can smell it. That's all I'm saying. So I think there's also that element there of like that kinship that she doesn't know why. As gross as that is, but it's true, and something that I've always found really creepy and fascinating about the human experience and biology.
Well, I mean, that happens with people that aren't related too. Like if you grow up in the same area and you have similar experiences and stuff, it's easier to relate to them. But
there's something about people that like people who don't grow up anywhere near each other but meet later in life, and it turns out they're like second cousins, first cousins. There's like, I don't know. Was it Mindy? Was it the Mindy Project? No, it was some other show that this was on. Oh my gosh.
I know it happened on 30 Rock.
New Girl. Yeah.
And New Girl too.
New Girl. That happened to them, remember? Yeah. So I'm just saying like it very much is a thing, and maybe it is like just, I don't freaking know, but I think that's definitely a part of it. It's sad, but true. Moving on. So they're gonna have a rendezvous. Oh, and then we go to Winterfell, where the lords, I forget which lord, but the lord of the Vale, I think that's who he is, or he's something. Or is Littlefinger Lord of the Vale? I don't know. I think he is.
I thought it was the little Aaron or whatever.
Yeah, but I think he promoted someone to be his, because he's not going anywhere. Where is he? He's gone. But they want Sansa to be queen because Jon's not there, and we should have picked you. Well, duh, but like that's over now. But Sansa's, like, you're too kind, but no. And they're mad at Jon for going. But the Vale's like, we're here for you, Sansa. We were always here for you. And then Arya's watching, and she's like, I see what's going on. Then Arya and Sansa speak in their parents' quarters, which is not great for Arya, which I can understand. Like the last time she was there, her parents were in that room. That must be weird.
Yeah.
And Arya calls her on it, like, you've always liked nice shit, being superior. And Sansa's like, are you mad at me? And Arya's like, well, you didn't really defend Jon. And Arya mentioned something about wanting their heads. Basically, the people who were defying Jon. She's like, oh, you don't have to like do that. You could just ask for their heads. You're in charge. I'm like, ooh.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But Sansa's like, no, I want unity. That's not how you do it. But then Arya's all like using her superior skills now that she has to be like, I can see it in your eyes. I know that you want this role forever. But Sansa is like ashamed of that because it is true. I think that very much she would like this position forever, I think. And she's uncomfortable. She's like, you should go now, Arya. And Arya's like, bye. So
like Arya's like, yeah, you want me to go because I just
I just owned you. I just told you exactly what was up and you're uncomfortable with that truth. But whatever.
Deal with it.
Whatever.
Sorry.
It's the truth. Maybe don't, I see it in you. You weirdie.
You weirdie.
I'm sad about the way this is going, but I do think it won't go that far.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like there's so much power that Littlefinger is being given right now, which I think it's the last scene. We'll get to talk about that. I can't remember. No, it's the second to last, but okay. So then we go to Davos and Tyrion at King's Landing, where Bronn is tricking Jaime to meet Tyrion. And Jaime is like mad, but Tyrion's like, I applaud you about Casterly Rock. You really outmaneuvered me, which is good. He's trying to butter him up a little bit, maybe. But Jaime's more mad about their father, and Tyrion explains Dad was going to kill me in a very heartfelt speech, not because of anything I did, but because of who I am. But Jaime doesn't care. He interrupts him, or he's, doesn't want to care, should I say. And he's like telling them of the undead and the possible suspending of hostilities. And I forget what he says about Cersei at that point, but I don't really know. I was more lost in the moment of their confrontation. I feel bad for everybody, but especially Tyrion.
Mm-hmm.
Poor babies.
I was kind of sad that Jaime wasn't more like happy to see him. I don't know.
Jaime is on Cersei Island, and it's
so frustrating and gross.
Yeah,
because she's such an a-hole. I just don't get it.
I don't know. It's upsetting.
Jaime, why?
I don't know. I don't know what his deal is, and I just hope that I wished he had gotten captured. I still don't understand. If they saw him go into the water, why didn't they retrieve him? He would have been great. Like, that is stupid. That is a stupid.
Just leave him. It's fine.
They were right there. Guys, that makes no sense. I don't agree with that. That made no sense.
I agree.
Okay, so then Davos, while this is going on, Davos has his own little thing to do. So he finds Gendry, who is working at a Lannister forge with his head all shaved up. And I was so happy when he got a hammer out, because that's what Robert used. And I was like, oh my God. And not enough people, I don't not recall anyone using a warhammer except for maybe like a giant, probably use a club, but that's not the same.
No.
I love the Warhammers. I thought that was so cool, and like definitely something that he pursued because of wanting a connection to his father, I'm guessing. And that was so exciting. I was really happy to see Gendry again. Really happy. And I hope that is true in the books too, because in the books we don't know. But Davos obviously saved him from being sacrificed. So it was really sweet. Were you very happy to see Gendry again?
Yes. He looked so different though. I was like,
he does. He looks like he's been through some shit. Yeah,
I was like, have you been eating? Are you okay?
Yeah. Here's the thing. Like, I watched Skins, and I think you did too. I can't remember. Yeah, I did. Well, remember when he actually, spoiler alert, he dies on Skins. And so I think he was sick, right? Or he got hurt. I can't remember.
He had I think he had some sort of brain issue. And so he would have seizures.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember, but it was really bad.
Either way, he got sick too. So like, I'm kind of used to seeing him sick, but that was, yeah, I don't know. I think he was trying to like hide himself. I don't know. I don't know why his head shaved. Maybe the actor had a shaved head. Who knows? But I was happy to see him and his really cool hammer. And I want a hammer. Can I have hammer? Can I have hammer? Hammer. I was kind of bummed that Arya didn't have like, I know she has her dagger and her little needle, but I want somebody who has like, I guess the only equivalent would be, what's her name? Ygritte, who had a bow. I just want people with bows. And it was only Ygritte that I can remember. Although I think Theon used a bow in like season 1, but that was like hunting stuff. I don't know. I believe he did.
I think you're right.
But I can't think of anyone else who like used the bow primarily.
I just remember Gendry's actors like family issues on Skins now that I'm thinking about it. God, that was fucked up. That was rough. I had forgotten how rough Skins was. Jesus. Okay.
I don't have any memory. It was so long ago. I just remember the basics. But I believe you. Was he like, did they kick him out or something? I can't remember.
No, his mom abandoned him because his brother had died of the same thing and she was afraid that he was going to have it. And so she just walked out one day and never came back. And his dad left even earlier because they were like, well, we don't want to get attached to you in case it happens. And it's like, fuck you.
It did happen, though. I mean, not like that's cruel, but it did happen. That sucks. That was awful. That was really sad. I really left him on Skins. This is also the Skins podcast.
Surprise.
Whee! Okay, so then they're getting ready to go. Tyrion, well, I guess first the guards see Gendry and Davos as they're packing up. There's a whole crab bit, apparently fermented crab. I don't know if that's at all true, but if so, ew. I would never eat that. But he, persuades them to take a bribe, and that works out great until Tyrion, stupid Tyrion, like he had time to duck. Let's be real here.
Yeah, I was like, Tyrion, what are you doing?
He could have ducked. He's a very little man. He could have just laid flat. They weren't going that way. But no, he's like, I'm going to brave ahead. So Gendry has to kill him. So that's great. Tyrion, what the F are you doing? That was annoying.
Yeah, I wanted to be like, okay, so we were really worried about the Tarleys both dying, but these guards who do not probably get paid enough to honestly die over this, their lives are expendable. Like, whatever, they can just get bashed in the head. The logic is lost on me.
It was a cool scene. It was kind of gross, but at the same time, yeah, you're right. Like, and I think Tyrion was stupid. Like, does he think he's in King's Landing? These are whatever. He's not that bright about a lot of things, but in other things he is. So I'll try to excuse that one. And then Jaime meets up and tells Cersei of the Tyrion meeting, but she already knew about it. And he's like, yeah, they told us about, the dead and whatever. And she's like, dead men. And she knew that Bronn set it up and let it happen. But Cersei's like, I want a truce for now too. So I can be clever later, essentially, and build up my time and have another tactic. She says they'll defeat it all for them and for this. And she motions to her bum. I almost said
her bum. For this ass.
She motions to her tummy, or she like pats it. Listen, I said tummy and I read bum. Anyway. She says, oh, you're the father, obviously. But or no, she says, he's like, who will you say is the father? And she's like, I'll say it's you. And then they kiss, and she's like, but never betray me again. This was like gross, but more so I was like, oh God, really? It made me think that's going to happen in the books, but I don't think this baby will ever come to fruition. So it's mostly just another thing to make, because like she had her prophecy told,
Yep.
of how many kids she was going to have, number one. And that prophecy is, her kids have died. So if there's another kid, well, guess what? That prophecy has been told, unfortunately. And even in the timeline, I don't think there's enough time for that to actually be a thing. I don't think it'll get very far if she even, is pregnant, which I think she is. I'm just saying it's not going to be a thing.
Telling you, I read those first 2 episode synopsis of season 8, and that was something that they talk about in that. So I have a feeling that at least some of that stuff is probably true based on what's already happened in this season.
She still has a baby going on then? Great.
No.
She just spoiled it for us. Let's kill her. It's okay. Like, I knew it wasn't going to be a thing. Sorry,
well, it might not even be true.
It might not even be true. Here's the thing, as Becca said. But I was calling it there, and I was very firm on my thing of it not being a thing. Anyway, so, Jamie, you disappoint me. Cersei is actually more methodical than maybe I give her credit for. I was a little impressed with her in that. I don't know. Although I think if she thinks that she's going to outmaneuver them, she's still silly. But if Dany keeps listening to someone who isn't Tyrion, maybe. Sorry, Tyrion. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he's not been performing very well.
No, unfortunately not. But that's
his performance review is not going to be good this year.
No. Yeah. I don't know. I thought he was smarter than this, but it's fine. Maybe he'll learn. Then Davos and Gendry get back to Dragonstone. And Davos is like, here's the lies you're going to tell, blah, 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 blah. You're going to be a smithy, basically, or, at Winterfell, and you're going to say your name is this. But then he goes in and just like Jon would do, and just like I frankly would do, he tells him everything.
Yep.
Robert's son, my name is Gendry. And I want to go with you on what you're doing. I have a hammer. I kill.
Yep.
And they bond over their dads and agree he's going. And I thought that was a really great scene. It was sweet. Because, there's not a lot of people that Jon has as friends, especially around him since Sam is not there. And I feel like they'll get along really well. And I just hope that they both don't die immediately.
Yeah.
That's the hope. If Gendry goes and dies, we're going to be like, really?
It would be kind of a bummer.
What's wrong with you? And then we have Jorah and Tyrion reuniting, and Tyrion gives him a coin, I think, like something when they got out of the slavers. I don't know. It was a thing. They say they're little misty goodbyes. I mean, Jorah's cured, so that's good, and they were involved in that together. So, then Dany and Jorah say goodbye again. Jon watches the little hug. And then Jon says bye to Dany. And she's grown used to him, so it's pretty sad. And Tyrion looks on knowingly but says nothing.
Yeah.
Dany's sad and Jorah is thirsty. Those are my initial notes. So yeah, I felt really bad that I think Jon is the one who's hardening himself to some degree.
Yeah.
In terms that I don't. He's obviously been stupid enough to have a situation with Ygritte that really effed him up pretty good,
Yeah.
So I think he more so than Dany, if anyone's hardening, it's Jon. Not that he doesn't care, but
love, yes, I would say so.
To personal relationships,
to murder,
not murder, but to personal relationships for sure. And even his reaction, you could see with Arya and Bran, he was hardened to that because he wanted to be happy, but at the same time, it doesn't really matter if they all die. So he's kind of putting all his personal stuff aside for that. And on her part, it's like so sad. You feel so bad for her because you can tell that she is like, I don't want him to go. But he's, he just says, see ya, and boats off.
Yeah, like he's like, if I die, you don't have to deal with me anymore. And she's like, don't say that, please.
I don't like that. 'Cause she hasn't really ever seen anybody bond with her dragon. Tyrion, I mean, petted him. Was she even there for that? I don't remember. But like, she hasn't really seen Drogon ever, as far as we know, have that. So, and because they're her kids, that's like a super big deal to her. Like your kid, like being your kid who doesn't like anybody walking up to somebody and being like, ooh, goo, gaga, Yeah. That's basically what happens. So it's harsh. I feel bad for Dany, and I hope they go back. I mean, like, in my head, I was like, are they going directly back to take her the body, or are they just going to take it there? Will she see Jon again? I know she does because I've seen on-set photos of snow environments. Not on-set, but like on the Instagram. So that's not really a spoiler, is it? I don't know if it is. Whoops. But I think, I hope they see each other soon. I feel bad. They just, but I guess in their time, it's been a chunk together. I don't know. It took them a long time to do that stuff. I'm going to say they were at least together a couple weeks, probably more. I don't know. Then we have Sam, who is bitter at the moment, and he's feeling fed up. Gilly finds critical information, and she's being so sweet and using her newfound literacy to help and reading. I love her. I hope in the books it's this, but a lot more, because I just love Gilly so much. And she was on Skins too. And her name was Cassie, and I'm very much connect. Anyway, I've always loved her. I thought she was just so sweet. So I really love her character. And if she ever dies, I will be so sad, because I love Gilly, and Sam was being a butt. But Gilly finds information. She doesn't say it right, but she does find the record of Rhaegar divorcing his wife in Dorne and then remarrying the same day. So that means, I think her name is Elia Martell. I think the woman he married, and I believe he had kids with her, but for some reason, they were allowed to have an annulment, essentially. But Sam, he does not hear this. And
well, it was in secret. It was a secret annulment. Yeah.
It was a secret annulment. And but Sam's like, I'm thinking about other shit, so he doesn't really pay attention. And he resolves to take stuff and go at once. So he goes and gets a shit, and they go off with the baby and them, and they're gone.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. This was like an awesome moment, because like I believed it and a lot of people believed it, but I was very glad for this, because that means he and Lyanna and Jon isn't technically a bastard, which I think would mean a lot to Jon, just for his self-worth,
Yeah, although I think he'd probably be sad, because it means that he's not actually like a Stark.
He is a Stark.
He is a Stark. Never mind.
Lyanna's still a Stark. He is a Stark.
Of course. Yeah.
But he just has a different father. And I don't think I don't think he wants to pursue kingdom. Well, he is a king. What am I saying? I don't think he wants to pursue ruling the entire realm so much, but I definitely think knowing that he was made of love, quote unquote, made of love. No, knowing that he was a product of more so than just knowing that who his father was and mother, but knowing that, they supposedly were in love, and that, he was wanted, etc., would be nice, especially for the way he grew up. So that's kind of another parallel of how they may connect in a way, is that both Jon and Daenerys were kind of raised in really shitty environments. I mean, Jon grew up in Winterfell, but he was cast off. He didn't really have a mother figure. They both didn't have mother figures. And she didn't have a father figure. Well, she kind of did, but it was her brother who was a piece of shit. And
oh my God, yeah.
So yeah, I feel bad for Jon, but I hope that Gilly somehow in the back of her mind is retaining this information and is able to tell Sam again. I don't know. I feel bad. Does she have the book? You know what? She might have the book. Do you think she does?
It? I mean, she was probably in the middle of reading it, so she's like, well, I'm just taking this with me.
I hope she took it with her, because they took a lot of stuff. Well, not a lot, but they took some stuff. So I hope she brought it with them and it will be seen again. Or she just remembers, because, she called him Rhaegar or something, which similar enough. Anyway, I was so proud of Gilly and mad at Sam, but We heard it, which was a nice. It's always irritating when you know so much more, but we always know more than the characters, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Then we get to Arya, who is shadowing Littlefinger, or Littlefinger, as we like to call him. And he's meeting up with the lords who were trying to persuade Sansa to basically be the queen and get Jon out. I think for sure Littlefinger is making that happen, obviously. So some of those moments I think were kind of true, like he was doing stuff to pursue that, but so she follows him, and he gets a note, which is a note that Sansa was coerced into writing by Cersei, and what was that, season 1 or 2?
Yeah.
Big one, where she's like accepting Joffrey, and now she was told all these words to say, but Arya finds it in the mattress, gets out, she looks super unhappy, and little Littlefinger is watching, and I hate that. I hate seeing him outmaneuver everybody. It's so irritating. He's not that smart, and if he is, well, you know, he I don't care.
Seeing his gross little smile made me so mad. I was like, shut up, put that away. Put it away.
I think this is him trying to make Arya seem like a danger to Sansa. So Sansa, and I've definitely wedged between all of them. But I think it's a misdirection, because I think Arya is going to find out, or Sansa is going to find out. And I know he probably doesn't die this season, but I very much hope that this is a misdirection and they're not actually gonna have a real thing, because this is so stupid.
Well, that, and the other thing is Arya, I can't imagine she's like, well, gonna keep this a secret. I imagine she's gonna go and confront Sansa and be like, did you write this?
That Sansa explains it properly and doesn't like fear Arya. It's like, come on. I don't think Arya would ever kill her sister.
Mm-mm.
I don't even know what he's hoping for. You creep.
Just
hate him so much.
Creating distrust, I think. He's just a piece of shit. Oh my God. So this made me real mad. Taylor, if you're listening, I'm still mad at you about this. So we were watching Cherie play Inquisition, Dragon Age Inquisition, and we're like listening to Solus, and she goes, you know what I realized the other day, and I can't stop thinking about, and it makes me so unhappy. And I was like, what? She goes, Littlefinger and Solus sound very similar. And I was like, no. Oh my God, yes. But no, I hate it. No. Why'd you say that?
Hold on a minute. Taylor, if you're listening, I humbly disagree. I don't think so.
They have a very similar cadence.
I think the actor who does Solus, I think what's his face is from is he, I don't know, where's he from? I thought he was from Wales, but that doesn't seem right. The actor, his accent over the years has changed so dramatically, though, on the show.
It is supposed to be like a light Welsh accent, I'm pretty sure.
What? I'm Googling it now. Peter Baelish. No, I'm looking for the Aidan Gillen. But it's a notorious thing of how he has changed the accent dramatically over the series. And like sometimes it's so thick, and like and people who are British, like I've seen like really, because they notice that a lot more than I guess I would. Let's see. He's from Ireland. Okay. I kind of thought that at first, but yeah, I believe I think his name is Garrett. No, hold on. Solus. I do not believe he's Irish. That actor does like little funny, like you can pay to have him wish you a happy birthday or whatever, your friend, which I think is so funny. Those things crack me up. What is his name? Gareth David Lloyd. I just want to see where he's from. But yeah, I don't hear it. Because Littlefinger, when he talks, I feel like vomiting. And that's not how I feel about Solus, you know? I'm not really sure.
Me either, but once
he's from Wales, yeah, okay. David's from Wales. Mm-hmm. Or Gareth is from Wales. And the other guy is from Ireland. So, I mean, a little bit, but I don't think so. I don't hear it, but that's me. Luckily, I don't hear it. I'm glad I don't hear it. Sometimes, funny enough, like people that I really hate, sometimes I'll think, like in the paranoid part of my mind, that some actor I love watching on screen or some podcaster has like a similar voice to someone that brings me very bad memories in my life. And I'll be like, oh shit, that reminds me. And then I'm like, oh, can I still listen to this? But I just know that it's like the sad part of my head that's a little bit traumatized and worries about letting any part of that person into my life. So maybe it's something of that variety. I don't know. But on a less maybe personal level, I don't know. I don't hear it though, so I'm happy, but I'm sorry
glad
you do.
You don't hear it because I was listening to
I'm
Soulless.
so sorry you do.
The problem is we were listening to him and he said something and it had that same like kind of like sound when
it's a little
they both
swarmy.
talk.
Sometimes they're swarmy.
Yeah, and I was like, you're right.
But I think Littlefinger's voice is awful.
It's not all the time, but there are some instances.
You have to admit that Littlefinger has an awful voice. Like, it's not good.
Oh, no, it's not. I mean,
sure
Soulless has a lot more
voice,
warmth, whereas whatever that actor is playing Baelish, it's like, or Littlefinger, it's just, he sounds like a nasty, like, salamander person. He's horrible. But I don't know. It was just some of the cadence, I agree, and it made me very unhappy. So
I just
thanks
think
a lot, Taylor. Don't tell me anything like that ever again.
That's rude. You shouldn't have done that. But I think when I hear him talk Littlefinger, I am always so annoyed and like, it's like, I just couldn't hear that. But that really sucks if you're one who hears it, because I'm so sorry for you. That's a traumatic time.
I hate it.
Traumatic. So let's see how that pans out, I guess. God, not what I want to be focusing on, but I think they're just trying to make a little drama there, and with Dany supposedly being a little cruel, whatever. Then we get to Jon, who arrives at Eastwatch with Jorah and They see Tormund, and Tormund misses Brienne. Move on. I saw a great picture of Gwendolyn Christie, the actor for Brienne, who is like holding a hand up to the Funko Pop, like, no. I was like, yeah, please never make that a thing. Like, she deserves to have people, be attracted to her. That's great. That's a normal thing. But like, I don't think she has to reciprocate.
No,
that's nothing she wants. And if they made that happen, I would canonically deny it and never look. But they encountered the Brotherhood, who sold Gendry essentially to the Red Priestess to be burned, blah, blah, blah. That's great. But they want to go beyond the wall for their own lord's reasons. But despite Gendry's, whatever. And apparently, Tormund and, God, what's his name? Mormont, his father was always hunting wildlings to some extent. He was on the wall. So there's animosity between everybody. So whatever, let's put it aside, go together. And then they go beyond the wall, and that's it.
Roll credits.
Yeah. That was a pretty long episode.
It was. I mean, there were a lot of
It was a really
bits.
good episode, but it was pretty long. Yeah, the scenes were definitely shorter, which to some extent I appreciated. I think they're doing a lot better at balancing. Though I still think the Eastwatch should have been what the next one was called. All I'm saying, I'm just hung up on titles here because I think titles should be cool, but whatever. It should have been called like something about brothers, because the brothers reunited. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, I really liked the episode. Did you like it?
Yeah, I'm real concerned with how things are going.
How so specifically?
I don't know. I'm worried about Cersei. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. I guess I'm also thinking about all the stuff I read for season 8, and so I'm just like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm worried.
Becca is an insider, so now we can't relate, humble audience. Though probably some people listening are insiders as well, in that they've read it. But
it may not be true, though. Also.
Try to put it aside at the moment, because especially if they were leaked, I can't imagine a lot of those things won't possibly change. I believe before every season they like consult Martin, and I know he's given them the last like tidbits of what happens, but I don't know. You never know. It could change, especially if it was leaked.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me
because
if
nobody
they changed
wants
it.
that.
Yeah.
Damn you, hackers! Damn ya.
Yeah, I wish they'd stop doing that, because it's like, you know, what ends up happening is they end up changing it. And so if there was something that you liked in there, it might be the thing that gets changed, and you might just get punished for it. I feel like
HBO is probably not going to be too happy about that. It was some group who wanted money, and I guess they weren't going to get it, or they wanted something. Probably money. It's always money, isn't it? I remember Cyberpunk 27, they're 20 something, whatever, the new game coming out in a couple years or whenever it's coming out. They got info for that, and were trying to extort what's the company that does Project Red? They were trying to extort Project Red for money, and they publicly posted a thing like, no, we're not going to pay. Sorry. I hope this doesn't happen, and I hope you don't read it, please, because we're not going to be extorted for money for our files or whatever. So
rude.
Yeah, I just think it's awful. It's one thing if like something accidentally leaks. I don't know how that could happen, but like with all this stuff and like threats, I don't like it. Normally I'd be okay with like a little bit, but this is a lot. It's a lot. And we'll get pictures, as filming goes on, and we have 2 more episodes left. So there's like other sources of, I don't know. I feel bad for people who work on this stuff, and not that I'm the hugest fan of the creators, but I do mostly enjoy the show. So, Well, that was good. I give it like 2.7 dragons. That's a fair. Out of 3 dragons. That's my 3 dragons.
I'll give it 2.5 dragons.
Because she liked it a little bit less.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine. You don't have to, it is different when you know some stuff. The reason I don't like doing that stuff is like, I don't like, sometimes I'll just be like anticipating that thing to happen so much because I know for a fact it's going to happen that like, I'm not able to enjoy. Just like if a spoiler about a book or whatever, like somebody told me when Dumbledore was going to die, like a day after I started reading that Harry Potter book. I think that was part 1 of Hallows. I can't remember which one it was, but they spoiled it for me. And the whole book, I was just waiting like, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. This is going to happen. And it took away my enjoyment. And that's all I can say.
Mine's more, I'm worried that it's going to change and it's not going to happen is more my fear.
Oh, there's something you really want to happen that happened there.
Yeah.
Well, as I said, unless it's Littlefinger dying, then that's the only thing I really want in this life. And Daenerys not to die. And Brienne not to die. That's it. Oh, and Jaime to not be under his sister's thumb anymore. That too.
Those definitely aren't all the things that I want.
Okay. That was sarcasm, right?
Yeah.
You can't use sarcasm with me. I'm not good at it. Okay. I think that's it. Anything else you want to add? Anything you liked about the episode, didn't like, that we didn't really touch on?
Littlefinger, get out of here. That's my only critique. Get out.
That's not every week
Fuck
thing,
off.
though. I guess we can just keep repeating that. Get out of here, Littlefinger. You're not good enough for this life.
Go home, Littlefinger.
Hey, there's an artist that does like cat renditions of every like show casts and stuff. And did they ever do a Game of Thrones one?
Probably.
Cats of Game of Thrones. One of my favorite designs. That noise. Sorry. There's one for San Junipero. Oh, there's a design on that I've seen of mother of cats basically, and Danny's cleaning litter boxes and stuff as a little cartoon. I just love it. It's good. Come on. I guess I'm sure it exists. I'm seeing cat cosplay, which is good too. Cat cosplay of all that. It's so beautiful. Tyrion as the kitty. Oh, Melisandre as the little kitty wrapped in. Oh, Danny. Sansa, just compared to cats. I love it. Oh, Joffrey's is pretty cute. I don't know. Maybe I'm just going to be Googling Game of Thrones and cats for a while. Game of meows.
Game of meows.
Game of cats. Oh my God, you should all Google this. It's pretty good. Oh, Khal Drogo as a kitty is like a Bengal. Or like something that looks like a Bengal.
Cute.
Anyway, Cats of Game of Thrones. I love cat cosplay a lot. It's pretty good. Cruel, but good. Good stuff.
I guess some cats like that kind of attention, but
I don't know which.
Meryl would not. She would say, no, don't touch. No.
There's Grumpy Cat. Spoiler alert, everyone dies. Thank you, Grumpy Cat. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. All right, well, I'm going to continue. Oh, then Grumpy Cat says, bring me Joffrey's head. All right, well, I'm getting in a rabbit hole here of Game of Thrones and cats. Oh, Peter Dinklage posed with the real Grumpy Cat.
Well,
cool. That was a good, they both are grumpy. I love it.
That's a lot going on in the picture.
It is. It's pretty good. Grump. A lot of grump, but it's good grump. Oh, there's so many. Okay, well, I think I agree with what you said, and I think that's all. I think that's all until next time.
Yeah.
Oh, I did find it though. I found the kitty Game of Thrones one. I wanted to see. Come on, little guy. Game of Sits is what it's called. Oh my God. Can I send this to you? How do I send it to you?
How do I get send it on Skype?
I know I don't use this a lot. Hold on. Can I drag and paste? No. I think I gotta save it. Hold on. You guys see this because it's so cute.
Oh, bye.
There you go. Oh my gosh. I think Tyrion's is great. Brienne's is great. Aww.
Oh my God, Joffrey's. What the hell? It's all of his conquests.
I'm trying to find who it's by Kitty Cassandra if you want to look at it too. She does the Parks and Recreation one, which is called Purrs and Recreation too. I love those. I want one of those.
These are so cute.
Someday I'll get them. She does
Sam.
Cat paintings and stuff.
You little fat
yeah,
baby.
Sam is cute. I don't know which one's my favorite, but I think Dany just because she has a dragon, but Sansa's is pretty cute too. And the Hound. Oh my God, that's funny. Mm-hmm. Arya's is precious. I'd want Arya. I'd adopt her. I'd be like, you're the cutest. You're the cutest. Mm-hmm. She has the best ones. The best. You should totally look at Kitty Cassandra's art because it's cute. And she sells little prints of it too. Anyway, thank you for listening to our little discussion here today. And we hope that you enjoyed it and that you enjoyed the episode. And we will see you in the next 2 and maybe next series as well. Who knows?
I don't know.
We don't know, but you will someday. You will know. We'll see you next time. That's it. Cats. Cats. Littlefinger. Bye.
Bye.